Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church, and I'm here today to continue the story about Jacob. And we find this time he's on his way back to his home place, and he's on his way back to where Esau lives. Now, if you remember, he tricked Esau, and all of these years, God has blessed him, but he knows what he has done. He's never forgotten how badly he acted. And in fact, that's why he ran in the first place. So here we now find in chapter 32, Jacob is on his way back. Beginning with verse 3, it says, Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau, who was living in the region of Seir in the land of Edom. He told them, Give this from your servant Jacob. Humble greetings. Until now I have been living with Uncle Laban, and now I own cattle and donkeys and flocks of sheep and goats, and have many servants, both men and women. I have sent these messengers to inform my lord of my coming, hoping that he will be friendly to me. You know, Jacob, how do you say it? He messed up big time. Now, I know he was following the advice of his mother, and his mother was always preferential to Jacob over Esau, but he messed up. You know, you and I have messed up in our lives. Sometimes we've messed up real good, and we have to figure out what to do with that. We can pretend it never happened, and maybe that's a strategy that works. Or we can confront those that we injured, and that's the hard part. And so Jacob's going home, and home is where Esau is. Now, it's been a long time, and he doesn't know what Esau's thinking. He really doesn't know what kind of reception he's about to receive. So after delivering the message, it goes on in verse 6, the messengers returned to Jacob and reported, We have met your brother Esau, and he is already on his way to meet you with an army of 400 men. Now, the crazy thing is, Jacob's got a huge family and group around him. Maybe he even has enough to take on Esau's 400 men. But we know that it terrified him. In fact, the next verse says, Jacob was terrified at the news. He divided his household along with the flocks and herds and camels into two groups. He thought if Esau meets one group and attacks it, perhaps the other group will escape. Poor Jacob. He doesn't know what to do. And I'm betting if you and I were there, we wouldn't know what to do either. This is a long time wrong, big wrong. And now he's got to figure out how does he face him. So when Jacob hears this news, verse 9 says, he prayed. That's a good thing to do. O God of my grandfather Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, you told me, return to your own land and your relatives, and you promised that you would treat me kindly. And I'm not worthy of your unfailing love and faithfulness you've shown me. When I left home and crossed the Jordan River, I owned nothing except a walking stick. Now my household fills two large camps. O Lord, please rescue me from the hand of my brother Esau. I am afraid he is coming to attack me along with my wives and children. Well, there it is. Jacob is convinced he's about to be slaughtered. It's his own fault. I mean, let's remember this. He's not an innocent party here. Now, granted, he's not the one bringing the aggressive action at this point in time, or at least he thinks that's what's going to happen. But it's his fault. And you know, this is kind of representative of you and me. We do something that's not what God wants, and it's our fault. And we can rationalize it, we can explain it away, we can do whatever, but it's still our fault. And when we're confronted with that, that decides or determines or demonstrates what kind of a person you and I really are. Now, here's Joseph or Jacob. He's sending a monstrous gift to his brother. If he can overwhelm him with his kindness, maybe Esau won't hurt him. But he hadn't gotten that far yet. So what does he do next? It says, "But you promised me, God, I will surely treat you kindly, and I will multiply your descendants until they become as numerous as the sands along the seashore, too many to count." What does Jacob actually do? He finally, in this part, and we'll read more this coming week, he finally turns to his only possible source of protection, God. Now, he hasn't quite gotten to the point where he's willing to admit he was wrong. He will. We'll read about it here shortly. But he's just scared. And he thinks that punishment is coming because of what he did. And you know, he's probably okay with getting punished. He just doesn't want his wives and his children to suffer. Well, what is in here for you and for me? Well, the first thing that's in here is acknowledgement that we're no different from folks like Jacob, and folks like Jacob, who are great men of the Bible, is no different from people like you and me. We mess up. And I'm sure you've messed up. And I'm sure that if nobody else in the world knows it, you know you've messed up. So what do you do at that point? Well, let me suggest that you do like Jacob. You go to God and you remind him of what he promised. Now, in this point in time, Jacob is totally dependent on God to honor his promise. And I want to say to you that even today, we are totally dependent on God to honor his promises. And we can count on that. And I hope you know that as part of your life. If you don't, well, then search his heart and find out. Search the word and see what it says. And perhaps you too will discover that God's promise for you is for blessing and prosperity. And if we will walk with him, that's what we'll find. Will you think about it? And I hope you have a really great day. Hope you're looking forward to this week. If you have a need or a concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. Well, take care. I'll be back tomorrow. God bless you.